helicopter testing in Marquette.
Winter Carnival statues stand strong. Hi, I'm Amr Mansour.
And I'm Melissa Lambert, and this is Public Eye News. Redstone Test Center has been conducting helicopter icing tests over the Marquette area for the last few months. A civilian helicopter program is supporting the test for a certification to fly in similar conditions from the Federal Aviation Administration. 2 modified aircraft are being used in the test, one that creates a controlled cloud environment and another that characterizes the cloud before passing through it. One helicopter documents the ice accumulation and shedding with onboard instruments and photography. You will have a chance to see these helicopters in action until April. And Marquette Mountain partnered with the Bomer Center at NMU to host a vintage ski and snowboard fashion show Saturday. Contestants strutted their stuff in honor of the history of sports in the Upper Peninsula, including the fashion. One outfit came from the 1940s and another even before that time period. After the catwalk, the contestants raced on skis and snowboards down the mountain to test out the vintage gear. Awards were handed out to those with the best outfits and skis.
And the UP 200 is coming up soon, and volunteers are still needed. The race needs dog handlers, bag checkers, and help with vet checks. The annual sled dog race starts on Friday at the local YMCA. The YMCA will also be holding a silent auction and will be a meeting place for the Mush Bus. The Mush Bus leaves at 2 p.m. on Saturday and gives a 4-hour trip of the race. If you'd like to volunteer for the race, visit their website before it's too late. And folks, Winter Carnival may be over, but the statues still stand. After Michigan Tech's festival ended this weekend, many of the ice statues are still standing strong. More than 50 different statues were made this year for the annual event. And this year's theme, as snow accumulates at alarming rates, we show our love for the 50 states. The statues of the 50 states will remain up for viewing until they melt or become dangerous.
You may think that Michigan is having a pretty mild winter, but what do the statistics say? The Accumulated Weather Season Severity Index, or the AWSSI, was developed to take weather conditions like snowfall and temperature into account and assign it a number value. The index starts accumulating numbers on the first day, staying below freezing, or December 1st, whichever comes first. The index shows the majority of Michigan is experiencing a mild winter, including right here in Marquette. Sault Ste. Marie, however, is having its tamest winter on record to date. And filmmaker and Flint native Michael Moore is in a New York hospital ICU with pneumonia. Moore made a statement soon after he was admitted last Sunday night and said, quote, "Things didn't look good," end quote. In a later Facebook post, he thanked doctors, hospital food, and second-term Obamacare and said he would be discharged soon. He was forced to cancel appearances to promote his new documentary, Where to Invade Next, which is set to hit theaters this Friday. And stay tuned, because after the break, we'll be back with your national and international news.
Next time on Finding Your Roots, bravery might be in the blood.
Wow, he fought under George Washington.
Actors Patricia Arquette and Julianne Moore.
Just always assume that you don't know this stuff because it's unknowable.
And Senator John McCain.
You aren't the only member of your family, Senator McCain, to be held as a prisoner of war.
That is amazing. It's truly amazing.
On the next Finding Your Roots.
Watch Tuesday evening at 8 o'clock Eastern.
And welcome back. President Obama has approached Congress for emergency funding. Obama has asked Congress for $1.8 million to help fight the Zika virus. Today, the White House said possible funding would go into mosquito control programs and development for a vaccine. While the Zika virus does spread through mosquitoes, it doesn't leave many symptoms. However, infected pregnant women have been giving birth to babies with abnormally small heads. The birth defect is called microcephaly and is spreading in South America. And millions of Americans suffer from receding gums. Now, periodontists in Brentwood, California are among the first in the United States to offer a new, less invasive treatment to restore the gum using the patient's own blood cells. Chris Martinez shows us how it works.
Dee Dee Lambrecht couldn't take the pain anymore. Her gums were receding at a fast pace.
Very severe, all the way up to the bone on most of the teeth, and it's hereditary. My father was that way too.
Millions of Americans suffer from gum recession. The most common fix is gum grafting, taking tissue from the roof of the mouth to cover the exposed root. But a new procedure now offers a less painful, less invasive solution.
Comfortable? Good.
Periodontist Alexander Alam offers the procedure called Rejuva Gum Lift to his patients. He uses a small amount of the patient's own blood to create what's called a platelet-rich fibrin.
That little gummy bear-like texture of white cells.
Dr. Alam inserts the fibrin into the affected gum area, and in just days, the fibrin helps rejuvenate the existing gum tissue.
The procedure takes itself an hour, but you get the result within a week.
These before and after photos show how well it worked for Dee Dee.
I couldn't believe it, and when I got the stitches out, it was just like the gums I was born with. It was just amazing.
Hey, how are you?
Doctors say the results are permanent, so patients like Dee Dee won't need any further treatments. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Brentwood, California.
By 2030, it is estimated that Colorado's population will increase by 2 million people, thanks in part to a strong and diverse economy, great quality of life, and its constitutionally mandated low taxes. It is also predicted that because the tax limits are voter-sanctioned, the state could someday fall victim to its own success. The Democratic governor of Colorado, John Hickenlooper, is trying to find extra revenue for aging roads within their budget, but the Republican-controlled state Senate doesn't want to get rid of the tax limit. Hickenlooper said the residents are angry at all forms of government, so they will vote against anything. The state reclassified fees last year, which raised $750 million in order to keep the budget from reaching a level where a tax increase will be necessary. And the Denver Broncos are world champions. They were the underdogs going in, but came to play. As Jamie Yuccas reports from Santa Clara, Super Bowl 50 came down to defense.
Super Bowl 50 was golden for Denver Broncos fans.
It's all about the Broncos and Manning. That guy is an awesome man.
Peyton Manning and the Broncos defeated the Carolina Panthers to win their third Super Bowl.
I want to go, hug my family. I'm going to drink a lot of Budweiser tonight.
Hours after his win, the 39-year-old quarterback appeared on CBS This Morning and said he has not made any decisions yet about retirement.
I really haven't spoken with anybody about it yet. I've been celebrating all night with family and friends, but I'm very much at peace, Gail, with kind of however that decision is going to go down and when it'll go down. I'm very much at peace about it.
Fumbles ended up plaguing the Panthers.
And he fumbles. We played terrible. It wasn't our team.
But Cam Newton didn't seem as gracious as his fans about the Panthers' loss.
They just played better than us. I don't know what you want me to say.
Seats were expensive. Some went in the thousands of dollars, but fans say it was worth it.
So well deserved. They have worked so hard.
The musical acts didn't disappoint either. Lady Gaga sang the national anthem. Beyonce and Bruno Mars assisted Coldplay at halftime, making it a big win on the field and for the millions watching at home. Jamie Yuccas, CBS News, Santa Clara.
4 people were finally rescued today from a building collapse that occurred 2 days ago. Earthquakes in Taiwan caused apartment buildings to fall, crushing many people. 38 have already been killed and around 100 people are still trapped under buildings. As Taiwan is recovering from this horrible disaster, 170 people have been rescued so far. One remarkable story is of an 8-year-old girl who survived being trapped for 61 hours. Our thoughts and prayers do go out to those who did not make it. And after the break, we'll be back with your weather and sports. Stay tuned.
Next time on Frontline, the law.
In most countries, sports betting online is legal, except in the United States.
The loophole.
The United States Congress carved out a piece of legislation that says fantasy sports is not gambling. I didn't make that decision. They did.
Online sports betting and the meteoric rise of daily fantasy sports.
You don't view what you do here as gambling. No.
Tuesday evening at 10 on Public TV 13.
Hello and welcome back. I'm Douglas Hardy with your Public Eye News weather. And if you look behind me at the Academic Mall here, you can tell it's a pretty windy day, bit of snow, kind of gray. Good day to stay in and study. Today it's cloudy with a temperature of 24 degrees, winds north-northwest at 19 miles an hour, and a barometric pressure of 29.68 inches and dropping. Tonight it's snowy with a low of 16 and winds north-northwest at 22 miles an hour. Finally, tomorrow, it's also snowy with a high of 19 and winds north-northwest at 23 miles an hour. Looking around your UP, we see that Sault Ste. Marie is 35 and cloudy, Manistique is 29 and cloudy, Escanaba is 28 and cloudy, as is Menominee. Over in Iron Mountain, it's 22 and cloudy, Ironwood is 16 and snowy, Houghton is 16 and snowy, and back here in Marquette, it's 24 and cloudy. Looking at your weather ahead, we can see that Wednesday there's a high of 12 and a low of 0, cloudy. Thursday there's a high of 19, a low of 4, partially cloudy. And finally, Friday there's a high of 11 and a low of -7, partially cloudy. So for some, this weather is pretty unfortunate news, but nothing compared to other people's unfortunate news.
I don't know about that one, Doug. -7 is pretty cold, and the Knicks did give Derek Fisher a pretty cold shoulder today.
Yeah.
The New York Knicks fired head coach Derek Fisher today after the team lost its 5th straight game and 9 out of its past 10. The Knicks are currently 23 and 31 this season after going 17 and 65 in Fisher's first season in 2014-2015. New York's current losing skid contributed to the timing of the move, but the team was already convinced Fisher was not transitioning from the role of player to coach effectively. Fisher and Phil Jackson have a history together dating back to when Jackson coached the Lakers and Fisher was a point guard on the team that won 5 championships. Fisher, who had no previous head coaching experience, took over from Mike Woodson, who went 109 and 79 in part of 3 seasons in New York, but won only 1 playoff series. The Knicks currently sit 12th in the Eastern Conference. And over the past month, no Eastern Conference team has been more efficient offensively than the Toronto Raptors. It doesn't bode well for the Detroit Pistons, who are struggling defensively and were burned by the Raptors just last weekend. Extra time between contests should also benefit the Raptors, who go for their 14th win in 15 games as they resume their road trip tonight against Detroit. A 111-107 victory over Detroit last Saturday capped the Raptors' first perfect 7-game home stand and extended their franchise best winning streak to 11. Detroit has had trouble stopping anyone over a 2-4 stretch, allowing an average of 107.3 points, 6.4 worse than its season average. Tip-off is tonight at 7:30 from the Palace at Auburn Hills. And finally, the Florida Panthers seem poised not to let their most recent setback completely derail another round of success. They can bounce back Monday night with a second victory in 5 days over the Detroit Red Wings, who will try to win back-to-back home games for the first time in almost 2 months. Florida seemed headed for a 6th straight victory Saturday before allowing Pittsburgh to tie the game with 2 goals in the final 5 minutes and 4 seconds of regulation in the eventual 3-2 overtime defeat. The Red Wings rebounded with a more solid defensive effort to snap a 0-4-1 home skid with Saturday's 5-1 victory over the New York Islanders. Dylan Larkin and Thomas Tatar each had a goal with an assist, and Peter Mrazek stopped 28 shots for Detroit, which can win consecutive home contests for the first time since a 4-game run in between December 1st and 10th. Well, Amr, Peter Mrazek is pretty good at stopping those pucks as they come into the goal.
That's true.
But I hear there are some Vermont residents who just plain up need to be stopped.
Let me tell you more about it, Dan.
All right.
Talk about feeling the burn. A Vermont tattoo shop is giving free tattoos of Bernie Sanders' face. Bernie's face can be placed on your neck, back, or rib cage. The shop has already given out 15 tattoos in the past week. And a man was recently found not guilty for his wife's murder after he was proven mentally insane. However, the judge made it clear to the man that he would not receive his wife's pension. Washington state law declares a killer cannot profit from their victim's death. So guys, going back to the Bernie tattoos, how are you feeling about it, Dan? You think about getting one?
You know, I like it. I think it's a good idea. I figure big chest piece. Big Bernie Sanders head on my chest.
What about you, Doug?
I mean, the neck thing definitely makes a statement.
That's true, that's true. Yeah, Alyssa, no.
I think I'm going to pass.
You're going to pass on it. I'm going to get the Hillary one, just saying. But okay, Super Bowl. Well, and we'll see you tomorrow.
preceding program was produced in studios located in the Edgar L. Hardin Learning Resources Center by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television.